Now, look, the last dimension I'm going to talk about here is the dimension of what I call the adaptable personality or the multiple personality. I've touched on this previously when we talked about understanding needs in context. We have different needs in different contexts, right? But it's actually more than that. It's actually much, much more important than that. It's much more complicated than that as well, right? Now, we are not just one personality. I think maybe we have a central personality. I don't really know. No one can really answer that question. But what we do know is that we are incredibly adaptable as animals, right? The human animal is an incredibly adaptable animal. You know, we can live anywhere, we can do anything, we can manipulate our environment. But that adaptability also applies itself to the way that we consume items. Now, if we go back into the distant past, and now I'm talking, you know, thousands of years ago, when you know, for which there is history, it was actually accepted that our personality didn't come from within ourselves. It was actually accepted that our personality was our body being inhabited by a particular kind of spirit, if you like, right? This is old, esoteric, spiritual sort of thought. Now, that sounds crazy, right? That sounds crazy in our modern day life, with all of our rationality and our science and our knowledge. This sounds absolutely crazy, but this is what people used to do. People used to pray, right, to the different, and that's why there were different gods, because different gods were different needs and different personalities, right? So when I had to go to war and be aggressive and kill and be competitive, I would pray to the god of Mars, because people prayed to the god of Mars because they thought that the spirit of Mars would infuse their body, right? And that's the person they would become in that situation. In other situations, they would pray to other gods in order to obtain different kinds of energies, right? They were channeling. That's what the prayer was. The prayer was channeling. Now, what does this have to do with marketing? Well, this has everything to do with marketing, because what do you think basically happens when we drink orange juice in the morning, or when we have an isotonic, right? When we exercise, why do we have different products at different times? Because what we're actually trying to do is not just hydrate and all that kind of thing. We're actually trying to summon different spirits. But they're not gods anymore, right? They're not different gods. Our gods have become Powerade and Gatorade and orange juice, brand X and brand car. These are the different spirits. All of these different gods have not gone away. They're still here, but they have different kind of manifestations and much more fragmented manifestations. So, you know, we are not just drinking an isotonic to rehydrate. We're drinking an isotonic to summon the spirit of war, to summon the spirit of aggression, of competitiveness, of physical activity, right? That's why isotonics are red, electric blue, you know, all of these very, very powerful colours, right? Now, this sounds crazy, but the reality is that's basically what the consumer does. If you understand what happens deep down, the consumer is actually using different brands at different times in order to summon different personalities and different kinds of spirits, if you like.